Good morning, everyone. We'll continue here in the laws of KASHRUS of Rabbi Yomin Forst, and we perhaps will round up the halachas today of Tevilas Kelim. Hashimush b'kli b'terem hutbal, using a kli before you took it to the mikvah. Kvar kesavnu l'mayla ki afilu kli she'ef shalad bilay me'ezatam. We explained previously a kli that you can't be toivel for whatever reason it might be. You cannot use it unless you're tovel it. Even if you already cooked in it 100 times and you were not yet tovel it, it is going to be asur to use until you actually are tovel it. So if you have kelim in the house, a person should know these things. You have kelim in your house and you never tovel them, you got to bring them to the mikveh, even though they're already part of your set of plates or your dishes or your pots or your pans, they still need tevilah. Now, din kli chashmali, what about electric kelim? We spoke about this in a previous year, what I told you over from my Rabbeim, and here we're pretty much in the same train of thought as we're forced. Kli chashmali tzarich gam ken tevilah. Electric vessels also need to be toivled. V'haf shechosh lekilkul, even though that you're concerned that by putting it into the water it might get ruined, according to most of the poskim, there is no heter, there's no permissibility without toivling them first. However, if you don't put the food onto the main part of that kli, but there's a different vessel that's acting as a hefsek, as a block between the food and the rest of the kli, then the whole thing doesn't need tevilah. For example, tanur chashmali katan, a little toaster oven. You can pull out the tray and the racks that are there, where you put the food on, and you can be told that. That's enough. So this is a good thing to know. When you have a toaster oven, a little one with a door, and you can open the door and take out the tray and take out the pan that you're going to be cooking on, and that's where the food touches. Those are the only things that need tevilah in that case, and it doesn't need any more tevilah. But daim is similar to plata chashmali, your hot plate that you have for Shabbos. You don't put the food directly onto the plata. It's always in pots, it's in pans, it's on top of something. Kedera chashmalis asher nitin lo yitzes kedera panimis. If you have a metal, if you have a electric kind of a kedera pot, and there's another pot that can be taken out, yesh lipo rakas hakli hapanimi, then you take out the kli that's on the inside, and that's the one you table. For example, sometimes a rice cooker, the outer part is all the electric, and you have a bowl that you put inside where you're going to end up cooking the rice. So just toivel the bowl from the inside, the rest of it you don't have to. However, and this is what we discussed previously, if the food's going to touch the vessel itself that we're dealing with, then you have to be toivel the whole thing. So if you're concerned over here that by putting water in there, it's going to end up ruining the kli, as we said before, he writes also, you don't really have to worry, and that is because if you let it dry out over several days, it's not going to damage the coil or the electrical system that is there. It's going to be just fine. Fine. And he writes, and if you have a kli, if you have a vessel that is hard to be toivel, he's going to give you a different piece of advice of what to do later on. Okay, mechamayim chashmali, you have the urn, the hot water urn. Kli chashmali shoyfim by vafalim. Kli shoyfim by popcorn. You have the popcorn maker. You have the waffle maker. You have the sandwich maker. Kulam tzrichim tevilah bebracha. You have to do tevilah with a bracha. But derech klal in kelim elu nizakim b'tevilah that will not get damaged with the water for one time. Just let them dry out for a few days, everything will be fine. Okay, everything will be fine. Yesh mi shamata lishtamish b'toaster. There are those who say that a toaster like the one that you press down the pieces of bread. Over there, there are some who say you can do it without tevila. Kilo necheva kli seuda. It's not really considered to be a vessel that's being used for the meal, because you could eat even if you didn't toast the bread. You could eat it. You could eat it cold, and you can eat it soft. You like it when it's toasted, and therefore there are those that would like to be makel in that particular area. Yesh amnam. However, there are those that are chokim that argue tevila. No. It still needs tevila. It still needs to be put into the mikvah, and once again put it in. Pour out all the water afterwards and let it dry out for a few days, and you are good to go. Now, what about this one? What if you have a kli you cannot be tovel? You have a kli that you have to use. You want to use it, and you can't put it in the mikveh. But for example, these Keurig machines, it's not just that it's a plug-in, it's that the whole face of the machine is all digital. And if you put something digital into the mikveh, what's going to happen? It is going to get ruined. So what do you do? There's no way to put this into the mikveh, and you still need it. So what do you do? Here's the piece of advice. Take your Keurig machine, give it to a goy, to a non-Jew, and it also has to be she'enim b'nei beis, so someone that's not from your own house. I guess it cannot be your regular cleaning lady over here. So you give it to the non-Jew as a complete gift, and then you say to them, do you mind if I borrow that for myself? And then it's always like you have the non-Jew's vessel in your house, and you're using his, which doesn't require tevila. However, you should ask your local Orthodox rabbi before you do this, meaning it's a heter that we only want to rely upon if there's no other choice. So I believe something like a Keurig machine makes it, there is really no other choice. You will destroy the machine by putting the digital part inside of there, and connected to the digital part usually is the parts that have to go into the mikveh. So you're stuck, and therefore you should go, and if you want to use Keurig, give it to the non-Jew. It becomes his. You're now borrowing it back from him. That says, Rav Forrest, that would be okay. Have a wonderful day.